Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make is what's called a jam cake. I got this recipe from a friend. I made a few little changes, so during the video I'm going to explain those changes and optional things that you can do with this cake, because so many times people do write and say, well, can I add this or could I add that? And that's what's nice about this cake. So I'll explain that in just a little bit. So let's get started. We're first going to start off with 2 cups of granulated sugar. I'm using my stand-up mixer. This is a pretty large cake. You could use your hand mixer, but it might struggle a little bit. So if you have a stand, well, that's what I would suggest. Now, you're also going to put 1 cup of butter. I went ahead and I cut mine into small cubes because I think it's easier to cream that way and it's faster for the video. So I'm going to cream that at this time, and I'm going to warn you about the sound of the mixer. Now you'll want to spend, of course, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You know, I don't really time these things all the time, but till it's all creamed together, okay? Now, the next thing that you're going to put in is 3 eggs from room temperature. I'm going to beat in 1 at a time till they're really well blended. The mixture looks not only creamy, but a bit very silky, fluffy, that kind of thing. So let's put 1 in. And again, I'm going to warn you about the sound. That's the second egg. And now the third. You put that together, you feel it's well creamed, quite fluffy and very yellow in color, okay? Then move along, and what you're going to add is 1 cup of milk, okay? Now, if you do have buttermilk, go ahead and use your buttermilk. If you don't like buttermilk, don't have buttermilk, just use regular milk, but you need 1 cup. And then just bring that all together. That's what I like about this cake. You know, you put everything together and it goes so quickly. Now, I will not have the recipe below the video, and I'm sorry about that, but in all my videos now I quickly explain that many people have taken my videos, claimed them as theirs, put them on other sites, taking credit for them, and it's just not worth it anymore for me. And I'm not alone. I know I've spoken to other people that put videos on YouTube, and the same thing has happened to them as well. So I'm going to try to again be very clear and you know, don't talk too quickly, that you can get the recipe down, okay? So now, and combine that again for another couple minutes till you feel it's nice and smooth. Okay, well, as we called it a jam cake, I guess you know we're going to be needing and using jam. So you're going to use 1 cup of jam. Now, I did make one with blackberry jam, but I'm using this one. I'm using actually a cherry jam, but you can use apricot, you can use peach, you probably can really use whatever flavor that you like, but my friend said she traditionally used you know, the blackberry. So I'm going to put that in there in the mixing bowl and then combine that and beat that all together. Now this again, you'll want the jam to be well incorporated and beaten well so that everything's combined. Now I'm just going to go to the bottom of my bowl here and clean up my sides a little bit with my spatula. And, you know, I'm beating for a shorter amount of time because of the video. Okay, the next thing that you're going to need is 3 cups of cake flour. Now, if you don't have cake flour, don't want to use cake flour, whatever reason, you can make it out of all-purpose flour. But what you'll want to do is take, in other words, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, put it in a bowl, and then take 2 tablespoons for each cup. So in other words, you're going to take out 6 tablespoons of that flour and put it back in its container or wherever you want to put it. Then put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch for every cup. So you'll be putting 6 tablespoons of cornstarch if you want to make cake flour, okay? If the question comes up and people write, well, what will happen if I use all-purpose? Well, I can't tell you that because I use cake flour. But I would tell you that if you're going to use all-purpose, to remember to take 2 tablespoons out of a cup of all-purpose and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Okay, but in this case, I used 3. If you're making cake flour, you needed 3 cups. So I hope I didn't confuse everybody on that. Or just get the cake flour and it'll be a lot easier. You do want to sift your cake flour. Some people feel that's not necessary, and that's fine too, but I like to sift. So I went ahead and I sifted the flour. So I'm going to start putting in my 3 cups of cake flour, and then in just within seconds, I'm going to be putting in a teaspoon of baking soda. And you'll want to beat this on, medium high. Not at first, because you don't want, your cake flour all over your kitchen. And I tend to put it on a little lower because of the sound for the video. There's the teaspoon of baking soda going in. And then on medium high, I like to beat it for, again, 2, 3, if you want to do it 4 minutes, just so that you know it's well combined. Warning you about the sound. Okay, this is optional, but I really find that you do want to put a cup of chopped nuts. Put whatever type of nut that you like, maybe walnut, maybe almonds, whatever you have or whatever you'd like. You can put your nuts in by hand or with the mixer. I usually don't beat it too long because I don't want them, broken up, but I do like mixing them because I think they're very, even. Now, this is the part that I spoke earlier about if you want to add things. I don't when I make this cake, but if you feel free and you want to put a cup of dates, chopped dates, and you want to put a cup of golden raisins, feel free. If you like raisins, the golden raisins do come out very nice in this cake. If you want to use dark, go ahead and use dark raisins. But it is optional. The ones today that I'm making for you on this video, of course, I'm just putting the nuts in. But if, like I said, I get a lot of questions, well, can I add this? Can I add that? Here's a cake if you want to put those chopped dates in, that 1 cup, or that another, and also a cup of golden raisins. There you go, okay? but I think the cake at least needs some nuts for flavor and for texture, okay? I'm going to take my paddle out at this time. You're going to be able to see the texture of the batter. Now, I do bake this in 11 by 15. I heavily grease it, and then I do dust it with flour. Now, if you want to use your parchment paper, feel free. If you don't have 11 by 15 pan, go ahead and you can use your 3 9-inch round pans. The only difference is when I bake it in the 11 by 15, which I'm doing right now, I bake it at 325, and it can take anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes. If you're going to use the 3 round pans, go up to 350 degrees, and you'll probably have them done in 30 or 35 minutes. But again, the 11 by 15, I bake at 325 for, excuse me, that 40 or 45 minutes. Because as we know, all ovens set up so differently. But you don't want to over bake it because you don't want it to be too dry either. So, you know, test it with your cake tester or your toothpick. And here you're going to be able to see the batter. Okay. It's going to look a little pink at this time till you bake it. And then I'm going to just get it into the edges, even it out as best as I can. I want to get it all out of my bowl. And I'm going to get the excess off here with a knife. And then I'm just going to make sure I have it on all the edges evenly. There we go. And let's set that aside. And I like to tap my pans a little bit. I don't want to do it too loud. Then people complain that it's too loud. But I lightly tap it. And again, I bake it at 325, anywhere from 40 to 45 minutes in that pan. I'm going to wash my hands real quickly because I'm handling raw egg here and what have you. Okay, and I'm just going to step away for a second and grab one cake to show you. It's a little bit warm yet, so I really didn't even take it out of the pan. Now this one I baked with the blackberry jam, and when you know you have it as a raw batter, it looks sort of purplish, you know, but when it bakes up, it's going to be a beautiful golden brown, as you can see with that. I'm going to grab a knife here, even though it's a little bit warm. Now, you can eat this cake with powdered sugar on top. You can eat it plain. I have seen it frosted with a caramel frosting. I've seen people use cream cheese frosting on it. I mean, it's really up to you what you want to do, okay? But I'm going to just cut a piece out of it. And, you know, again, keep in mind that it's still a bit warm, so I hope it doesn't break up too badly to be able to show you. No, not too bad. But it's an extremely light, delicate cake. I don't know if you can, you probably can't, but you could see the nuts inside of it. I guess I would classify it, it reminds me of a spice cake, to be honest. But when you actually bite into it, you'll get that flavor of that jam. It is a delicious cake. It's delicious even just served warm with a cup of coffee, plain, or a cup of tea or that kind of thing. And I hope you can see as I'm pressing down on it how it comes right back. It's so light. It's so delicate. It's not heavy. It's not dense. just to show you the crumb, how easily it's coming away with me just going at it with a little bit of the fork there. And when I squeeze on it, and it's going to bake up nice and tall too. I hope that you can see that. And it just makes for a really delicious cake. It's relatively quite easy to make. Use whatever flavor jam that you like. Pick a favorite chopped nut, that type of thing. I also want to remind you to please watch me solely on YouTube. That's the only place I put my videos. And if you do have a comment or you want to write to me, well, I'd love to hear from you. But if you don't write and watch me on YouTube, I'm not getting your messages. I'm not giving your comments. And I've seen my work on other sites, and it's so frustrating when I can't answer the very nice people like yourself that took the time to write. So if you're so inclined, please subscribe to my channel or give this video a like. That would be fantastic. I want to always thank you for taking the time, whether you're watching, writing, commenting, to watch Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.